we're back. It's Beer 30 Live. It's good to be here.
Yes.
Where's everybody been?
Hey, it's good to see you.
Gosh.
Been working.
Pete's been missing in action.
Pete has been out. He's here today, but he's suspiciously quiet. He's producing for us.
Under the
something.
weather, he
Under
said.
the weather today. So we're back with the usual suspects. To my left is Mary Bradbury Jones. Hello.
Hello.
You
How
look
are
good
you?
today.
Thank you. You do too.
Beer boy, bar boy.
Bar boy here.
Shane Corsetti.
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
And we have a great guest today. Actually, one of our most popular guests coming back from our time with Tuesday Noon.
Yes.
And that's Mr. Mike Mostafavi.
And a previous
Hello.
show as well.
And a previous show, did we...
Yeah, he's on a Beer 30 show.
Is he?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, we decided to bring Mike back because of all the things that have been going on in the Middle East. And it's just, I mean, you can't pick up the newspaper without seeing something about Iran, Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia. I mean, you name it, right? It's just, it's covering everything. And even President Bush and money that we're trying to get out of Congress and all that kind of stuff. And so we thought it would be good to bring Mike back on and talk about that and give us his perspective. So
Thank you.
Thanks for coming back again.
Thank you very
How's
much.
the TV show?
Great. It's
Yeah.
going very
And
well.
where can people find you at again? What's your website?
It's iraniman.tv.
TV. Very good. Good. Mary, why don't you start us off today? What do you got for us?
Well, I don't have any. We're not doing headlines, are we?
Oh, that's
we're
right.
just
I
diving
forgot.
in.
That's right. We're
Yeah.
diving right in.
We just
So
decided.
where do we want to start with Iraq? Or
Well,
the Middle East?
I mean-
All right. I know where I want to start.
Okay, I do. Well,
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Well,
No, I'll wait.
You know what I think is interesting is Seymour
We'll arm wrestle for
Hirsch's article that's come out in the New Yorker that now suspects that our government has been funding money to 3 different jihadist groups, Sunni jihadist groups, so i.e. Al Qaeda essentially type groups, and so we have basically what appears to be another Iran Contra.
Why have they been
Situation.
funneling money? I don't understand that.
Well, and Mike, you can jump
Yeah,
in
help
if
me
you
out
want,
here.
but
I mean, isn't that the last thing we want? So I don't.
but
Well,
There's Sunni
there is
groups
a
and-
tension over there, obviously, right?
Okay.
So the need for military presence, right, is going to be justified, right? So as a result of that, you see all of these tensions. You see that they're killing each other, and definitely there must be somebody to oversee that. And the same thing with Iran and Iraq war, right? What was the reason for that? Why you were?
I don't know. I thought they're oil or something, right? I mean,
No, there wasn't any oil. There wasn't any dispute between Iran and Iraq at all.
So why were they fighting in the first place? Why did Iraq attack Iran when Saddam Hussein was in charge?
Well, the original idea was a retaliation to hostage crisis. That was one.
Okay.
And they thought that if Saddam Hussein attacks Iran, obviously the regime was new, and because of the pressure, right, and because they didn't really have any military preparation at that time, the regime would fall. And actually that brought the opposite result, because Iranians are very nationalist, and because of that they gathered around their government, protected the government and supported the government, and the government actually continued that for 8
well, and
years.
Saddam Hussein was a Sunni.
He was
Well, that's what I was
Okay.
trying to. So
Exactly.
Saddam's Sunni, Iran is Shia. Is that
Shia,
right?
correct,
Okay.
right,
So
exactly.
then when we're supporting Sunni, which is the minority, is that right?
Not really.
No?
It's,
Okay.
no,
It's the other way
it's,
around?
Iran, part of Afghanistan, right, and part of Lebanon, they're Shias. But the rest of them are Sunnis.
Okay.
So Saudi Arabia, Iraq, yeah.
But I thought Sunnis were minorities in Iraq. That's not correct?
In Iraq,
In
yes.
Iraq, they
In
are.
Iraq
Okay.
is, yes.
So
true.
we're giving money to the Sunnis to fight. This is the accusation, anyways.
Right.
To fight the Shiites. Is that right?
Right.
Yes, and it's the Sunnis that are killing the majority of American soldiers in Iraq, not the Shias.
That's true. That
So
is
why
true.
are we giving them money? Just because we don't want the Shiites to control? Because that would be Iran. Is that right? Or Iraq?
Well, I mean, this administration's in bed with Saudi Arabia, and they always have been,
So how's Saudi Arabia get in the fold in this?
because Saudi Arabia is Sunni. And Saudi Arabia, well, let's put it this way. Right before Thanksgiving, Saudi Arabia called up and summoned Dick Cheney, and he quickly flew down there, and they had some sort of meeting, and then next thing we know, 8.5, was it million or billion of Iraqi money disappeared? I think it was 8.5 billion of Iraqi money. This was money, and this is outside the 12 billion American dollars that's missing in Iraq too. Right. And this 8.5 billion of Iraqi money, at one point, the Democrats went to Bush and said, come on, some of that money needs to be used to be taking care of our troops, getting them the armor,
all that kind of stuff,
taking care of them when they come home, i.e. now the Walter Reed scandal.
Yeah, that guy that just got fired, essentially.
Yes, exactly.
I just got my new Newsweek, and there's a big headline about it. And it's just.
But so, and Bush said, oh no, we can't, I can't use some of that money for that. And then lo and behold, the 8.5 disappears. Iraq doesn't get it, nor do the Americans or the soldiers. So where's that money?
It's in the couch cushions.
Well, that money.
Somebody ought to check with Oliver North since he was.
Well,
he's probably over there.
But here's the question: how many of people involved in Iran-Contra are actually working in the Bush administration? There's quite a few.
Quite a few. Yeah.
There's quite a few. So it's just same old thing, just decade later. And
that is really sad to see because it makes it very messy. On one hand, you want to believe President Bush, and if you're not with us, you're against us, and this is the right thing to do, and Al-Qaeda and all this kind of stuff, and you want to feel good about it, at least on a nationalist point of view, and then, and we're funneling money here, and we're doing this, and then it feels shady and cheap. And
the thing is, I think that their actions over time have proven they are not about peace, and they've never been about peace. If they were about peace, when Iran, contacted our administration in 2003 saying, we want to partner with you, we will help in Iraq, we will hold down Hezbollah, we will help work on the Palestine-Israel conflict, and we will not engage in nuclear
and why do you think we rejected
And
those?
we said no.
Why? Why do you think we did that?
That's the million-dollar question, I think.
Yeah, I think the presence in that area is the most important thing right now because it's a strategic, area. Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Iran, they are all producing countries.
Right.
As a result, they want to have control over that. And if there is a country hostile to the United States, like Iran, that is going to cause some troubles, that's why they want to be there. Now, you see a lot of basically different signals, coming from different areas. They say that we're not going to attack Iran, You have heard that over and over.
How could we? I just can't imagine that we can do it.
Well, the idea is to spread some of these rumors, for psychological, war, and that makes sense. However, when you look at the military buildup, in Middle East, you say that is that really a psychological war? Why do we have that many?
3 different carriers.
Exactly.
Sitting in the Persian Gulf right now.
You know how much that costs to maintain these things, over there? Is that part of...
The water's warm, so it makes it nice for swimming and stuff. It's like R&R for those guys.
They're on vacation.
I could be in the pool and make it warm, but I don't see me doing that.
Dude, I don't think you'd fit in the pool.
Well, Shane, you've got a thought here.
Well, actually, this is Mike and I had talked about this a couple days ago, and I'm just a complete idiot when it comes to all this stuff. But Mike was mentioning about Israel invading Iran,
right?
Because I was saying, well, how could we, at this point with how we, I'm not saying our military is weak, but
we're weak.
Well, this conflict has gone on exactly.
There are
how would we do this?
There are thousands of different speculations, of course, and it's very hard not to extract speculations from facts because, I'm lost. They say that, the United States is going to attack a strategic, localized area within Iran, like, I don't know, nuclear facilities.
I just can't figure out what they would do.
And according to certain CIA officials, we're already over there poking the tiger, let's put it that way. We are in the country and we are doing things already, trying to provoke him like we did to Saddam long before Iraq started.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We were bombing Saddam, trying to get him to provoke him to do something against us so they could justify it.
But can we talk about this theory of Israel invading Iran to give us open the door for us?
Sure. The theory was if Well, the United States, because Bush administration cannot get enough support from Congress, right?
Or the American people.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Exactly.
I'm not sure the polls would show that people really support any kind of attack on
Right,
Iran.
they are not supporting this. But what if Israel attacks Iran, right? And Iran wants to retaliate against Israel, right? Then, at that time, Bush administration can get support from American people. So that is one theory that is flying all over the internet, and people talk about it. As I said, I'm a journalist. I'm not a politician. I don't know whether that is true or not, but we were talking about this.
Well, it makes sense.
Right.
But the theory for attacking Iran would be to stop the development of their nuclear weapons. Is that right?
And
is that the justification they're using?
Yes, but it's not going to stop there because obviously the justification behind that is to make 70 million people so miserable, right, that they would actually, stop supporting their government and the government fall,
Do you think that would work, though?
No, I am sure that if they attack Iran...
We're in trouble. I mean, China is going to get very upset because China gets all of their oil from Iran, as does Russia. I mean, so something happens. It has the capability of triggering a World War III.
Right.
It's exactly what it has. And the other thing, going back, and I think we still should talk about Israel, but here's another interesting fact. Syria now trying to initiate peace talks with Israel, and Condi gets over there and tells Israel, don't you dare.
Is that what she said? Because I got to tell you, when Condi was going to go over, I actually thought it was a good sign, because I thought maybe she was taking away a little bit of power from Dick Cheney, who, quite frankly, it appears to be a real big war hawk. And I was hoping there was this lowering of the rhetoric, and Condi was going to kind of come in and say, all right, let's figure something out. That was my hope.
Condi's the one that also, got the memo about Iran wanting to talk to us about peace, and her and Dick Cheney said no. I think there's there's more than just one war hawk in this administration. There's a lot of war hawks.
You think so?
Yes. Well, and the other thing is that I think we have to talk about too is, in Iraq right now, get it out on the table. There is a very small group of people getting stinking, filthy rich off this war.
That is true.
And so, perhaps we went into Iraq, undermanned against all general recommendations so that we could have total chaos, because in chaos is when you can steal.
I don't know that anybody wants chaos. I can't buy that. But...
Well, they didn't listen to the people that...
You don't think about another 4 years for that administration, though?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, it's tough for me to buy those conspiracy theories like that. I mean, I don't think the UFO landed in Area 51. I don't think Elvis is still alive, and I don't think it's Jamie.
You have to connect the dots, and I think there's too many dots that are lining up to make it beyond a conspiracy theory now.
I struggle with that, because if you take a shotgun and you stand back and you shoot it against a wall, when you get to a certain point of getting close to it, you find a pattern, right? Because there's just so much stuff there, you have to find a pattern. I mean, it's just the way it works.
All right, so how come this...
mean there's really a pattern.
Then how come this administration, who then, let's go with your theory, is not about that, has done nothing to investigate $12 billion missing dollars?
Yeah, I don't know. I struggle to defend some of the things, so either it's a conspiracy or it's sheer ineptness.
Have you looked at Halliburton stocks since Iraq?
Oh, yeah, they're doing extremely well. Yeah. No doubt about it. I was thinking about applying for a job at Halliburton myself.
I mean, seriously. Or to go over there and be one of those contractors.
Hey, I've thought about
making a ton of money and not paying taxes on it.
Well, at the same time, if you look at all of these theories, you see new movements like Iran and Syria. They are invited to peace negotiations, right? In Iraq.
Have they accepted yet?
Yes, they did. They did. So that is very confusing by itself. Okay, that military build-up over there, all of these rumors that you hear, right, here and there, and then they are going to be around one table and negotiate. I don't understand this at all. Okay, so is it because they really want to put pressure on Iran to be part of that negotiation or not? Right. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
But whatever it is, the way that I look at it is there is a face-saving process involved for both Iran and the United States. And they have to come up with an agreement to walk away from that in a way that none of these two countries are going to be hurt.
Well, I think so, because we can't afford a war. I mean, just from that point of view, there's just no way. But I think Bush has got to figure something out, too. I mean, so if we buy the conspiracy theories...
Okay, and then I'll add another little element to it.
All right, I'm sure you will. But if we buy all that, I'm sure it has something to do with Whitewater and all that kind of stuff. But, anyways, if we do that, Bush has only got
Whitewater never went anywhere.
He's only got another 18 months to figure it out. I mean...
However, not unless we have a major war and he calls... now all of a sudden martial law, and therefore we can't hold elections. So why don't you ask why in September?
That's man.
Okay,
Mary.
all right.
Wait a second. I see a black helicopter right up there, and there's men coming down with machines.
And I see the finger coming out.
What did they put in the bill in September? They put in the bill for the first time ever in U.S. history that our government can use our military against us.
Yeah.
Why would they put that in a bill if they didn't have that out there as a possible? Come on. You got to look at actions, and you got to connect the dots of these actions.
Again, it's easy to connect it.
And they've taken away habeas corpus, so they can just disappear us, shove us into prisons. We don't get lawyers. I mean, look at what's going on.
I'm a little afraid of that. To walk out to my truck, somebody might come haul me away now.
I mean, seriously,
I just hope she's attractive, whoever it is.
I mean,
that's not prison.
Again, I think it's easy to spin conspiracies like that. I personally, I tend to think it's more ineptness than anything else.
Beer?
Yes, please. Beer is good.
Beer is good. So, well, I hope it wouldn't happen.
We are beer. Sorry.
I certainly hope it wouldn't happen, but you got to look at this and say, why on earth was
really
something
think
like?
That we're gonna
why was that overturned? Why was that in there? Why, for the first time ever, did they put something so that he can now use the military against the American citizens? The military is always supposed to be there to actually protect the people, and actually protect the people from the king.
Well, of course, if there is.
Am I right?
Have you guys watched? And I found this really fascinating. This whole debate, and of course, the show 24. If you've watched that, very, very similar things and similar storyline that they're driving through, and it does make you stop and think. I struggle with the whole conspiracy theory. I think we just screwed it up. I think we're out. As strategic thinkers, rather than saying, why don't we sit down and figure something out, etc. I think part of that's driven by Bush's ideological point of view, which is this is the way it's going to be and you're either with us or against us, rather than trying to find this common compromise that maybe not be the best, but at least we can live for a couple of years and move us on to the next place.
Then what's your answer to the document written in 1986? Project for a New American Century, which you had Wolfowitz, you had Cheney, you had Rumsfeld, you had Bush, you have all the war hawks right now involved in writing that document. And one of the statements in that document was the only way that we could get the American people to follow behind us to go in to the Middle East to dominate would be another Pearl Harbor. And they have all of this outlined since 1986.
I read a book called 1984.
Yeah, I mean, I could have written a document like that said the only way you're going to get people to follow you is under some kind of major crisis like that. That means
they were thinking about these things back in 86. You had Bush,
well, let's go back to Hillary Clinton's dissertation on communism and stuff and her master's thesis. All
right, can I as the voice of reason here, can we kind of get back to our guest here and maybe talk a little bit?
I love you, Mary.
A little bit more about.
I'm just saying the signals are there, and people better wake up to the signals.
Did you see the finger?
Yeah, the finger.
It's starting coming out.
I mean, I'll probably be somebody that disappears, before other people disappear.
I say, if you disappear, we'll come looking for you.
Right?
We'll come visit you in Guantanamo.
I
mean,
we'll go down there for vacation.
What kind of country are we when people will no longer necessarily say things they're thinking on a telephone anymore?
Do you think that's true?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you guys buy that?
Oh yeah, when I talk to
you're Iranian. I mean, come on. I mean, you're already under a cloud of suspicion, right?
Mike did bring his security today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cards right out there, all warmed up, getting ready to whisk you away.
The passenger.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really, do you think people are worried about what they're saying on the telephone?
Yes.
Shane, do you think there's...
I'm sure there are people worried about it, but I also think that we're a smart enough country that the people would rise up against something like that if it were to happen. I don't know.
I don't know.
Would we? I mean, I don't know.
Well,
If it prevents me from
are
making
we
my
too
1-900
scared
calls,
and
then yeah,
concerned
I'm
with
rising up.
yeah, I mean,
our materialism and stuff? I think people are scared. I think people have kept their mouths shut for a long time about this war and what's going on, and it's finally at a point where people, can't. So you do have a lot more people finally speaking up and, speaking their mind. But I think you have a lot of people.
certainly the polls will indicate that we've gotten to a point that people are like, listen, this is enough. And certainly in terms of Bush going and asking for more money for his troop surge or whatever he's calling it, people saying, man, I don't know. I mean, maybe, okay, but that's it. And so I think we have reached that point that people are like, wait a second, what are we really doing here? Some might tell you that we need to be more patient, but I would argue that patient for what? Because we don't seem to be making good progress. I mean, maybe we are and we're just not hearing about it. I don't know, but we don't seem to be making good progress.
I don't think we're making any progress.
It doesn't feel like it.
No, I really haven't seen any change since 2003. I mean, if that's... When you look at it, you see that every day things are getting worse and worse, and more people are getting involved. More people. I mean, the insurgents are getting more sophisticated.
Yeah.
So who is supplying these things? I'm not really sure.
Well, like all the weapons and stuff?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm not
I
really
know.
sure.
I mean, I read an article about that in different places in the world, there's these big marts of weapons and stuff, right? So who knows? And you could buy weapons from anywhere and then bring them into the country.
Who provides the money? I mean, insurgents don't get money
Exactly.
just by themselves. Okay,
There's a lot of places.
Where are the
certainly.
Sunnis getting those rifles that they're shooting our helicopters out of the air?
Exactly.
Or those rocket launchers, whatever they have.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting too, though. I did read an article just came up the other day. I wish I would have brought it in. That's talking about, they were studying the output of oil from Saudi Arabia, talking about how actually their oil output is going down. And
Could that maybe be why Saudi Arabia wants to get their hands on Iraq?
It could be a part of it, that's for
And
sure.
then possibly Iran too?
There goes the finger.
Connect the dots.
I don't know. Again, I'm not that big of a conspiracy theorist.
It's not. Stop that. That's what your side uses. Anytime anybody pushes back, it is.
Anytime what now?
That's a conservative move. It's a tactic that you use when
But I
people
didn't-
bring up things that are showing actual events and facts that support us, and then you are able to say, "Oh, it's a conspiracy theorist to knock people down and make it sound like we're crazy nuts."
No. I mean, you can sound like crazy nut all by yourself. You don't need me to help you do that. But
Okay,
no.
fair enough.
No, my point is I don't want to take things that and try to pull them together to paint a story necessarily on one side or the other. So it's, I don't.
JB, if you think that I would be not saying these things if it was a Democrat in office, you don't know me well enough.
No. I know you would say it.
This has
I know you
nothing
would.
to do
No,
with who's in
absolutely
office.
Not. No. I don't think it's anything
This
to do with
is,
who's in office.
we are in trouble. We are going off the cliff. We are bankrupting ourselves. We are not taking care of our soldiers. We are losing our rights. Hello.
There was a 2-finger wave there, by the way. 2 fingers came out from Mary.
Sorry, I'm getting fired up.
No,
It's something to be fired up about.
No, and I think passion is good, and I agree with you in a number of regards. But I lost my total train of thought. Sorry.
But no, I think, Mike, you should tell us a little bit about the some of that issues with where Iran was first accused of possibly giving weapons.
Yes.
And that whole scenario and the date
yes.
stamp.
Originally, Iran was accused for supplying weapons to insurgents, and the way that was portrayed, they were showing some slides from weapons and with the American type date on it, right? America is the only country that puts month, date, day, and then year, right? No other country in that area is using that, right? But the idea is why Iran is supplying weapons to insurgents, that they are Sunnis and their main goal is killing Shias. I really do not understand that. I mean, I know that Iran has a role, right, in Iraq. There is no doubt about that. But why they are supplying that, I really cannot understand that. And that idea did not really fly that long. I mean, in this country, it was just 1 or 2 days in the media, and then it died because it wasn't really a strong base.
Didn't look credible.
It did, So. That, if you really look at it, you see that they are trying to involve Iran, right, in all of these problems in Iraq, and that was one of them. And few days before, I heard that they're supplying, they are sending trainers right to Iraq to train insurgents,
right.
And all of this is stuff that is coming up. But look at Basra. Basra is a Shiite, the location, and majority of British soldiers, right, are in that area. I haven't really seen any violence, right, in that area.
Exactly.
Against the British soldiers.
Well, my understanding, though, of that, and I'd have to do a little bit of homework, is that because the British soldiers basically have bunkered down and not participated and have let the militias take over the area.
I don't think that's right.
Why.
No,
There's
so?
not anywhere near the amount of acts of violence down there. And the main reason,
I mean, Baghdad's the big
the main
violent
issue
area, right?
the British are down there is they're protecting BP's
Right.
oil fields.
Yeah,
Right.
no, that makes total sense. Yeah. Now, speaking of oil, though, wasn't there a big agreement reached, though, just the other day within Iraq about how to divide up the oil among all the different provinces and cities and stuff like that? I thought
Not that I've heard of.
I just,
No.
I don't know.
dang it, I'll have to find that. I'll have to write that down. But I understand that they actually came to an agreement within the Iraqi assembly about here's how we're going to divide all this stuff up and et cetera, et cetera. But
Well,
I don't know, man.
I don't think that dividing the resources is going to solve Iraq's problem at this point of time.
no, because it's an ethnic issue, isn't it? I mean, it's.
It
I
is.
don't like you because you're of a different
Of course.
ethnic race than
Well,
I am,
and
or
killing
religious
begets
belief.
hatred, and hatred begets killing, and it's a vicious cycle now.
So
I
we
mean,
should just get out? I mean, what would happen if we just left?
You mean now?
Yeah.
It's packed up.
All
and
of a
said,
sudden?
Yeah, just started
Well,
flying away.
it's going to be, in my opinion, I think it's going to be a disaster.
That would be a disaster.
They need some kind of protection without getting involved in most of these,
Getting out means not necessarily that we're not there to help them. It means getting out of a military mode instead of a support mode, which is getting out to the borders to stop the people coming in so that you can start to have police action within those communities.
Which is one
And
thing I've never understood, why we couldn't secure the borders more. I mean,
Exactly. I mean, that makes no sense. And you've got...
if we could build a fence between here and Mexico,
I mean, come
why
on,
can't
surely.
we figure out how to have a border between Iraq and Iran? But
Seriously,
go figure.
it's true. And whatever the head general is now, I'm escaping my name, but he's just now testified and said, we have 6 months, and if this isn't okay in 6 months, we are in a Vietnam where we need to start running for our lives. And that was his
Yeah,
quote.
that was just today, actually,
Yes.
right? The past day or so.
Yes.
That came
So,
out. Yeah.
I mean, when does the killing of American soldiers stop? How long do we stay? I mean, it's violent no matter what.
Well, and we're trying to solve a problem, though, that hasn't been
we
solved for
can't
thousands
solve.
of years. Yeah, and I mean, I think it is an issue of figure out how to stabilize stuff as quickly as possible and get out. And I think you have to go back to the commission, the nonpartisan commission that came together that said you have to engage Syria, you have to engage Saudi Arabia and Iran, and you have to solve it as a region rather than just being the big kid on the block and trying to take care of it yourself.
Right.
Because it just can't be done.
Right. And why won't we do that if we're truly about helping Iraq become a stable, democratic society?
To me, I think it's because there's, again, it goes back to ideology of we want to promote democracy, this is how we want to do it, and I think really in Bush's black and white mind, he sees compromise and working together really as losing. Really, and I think he thinks that
So
way.
you're saying that we are in Iraq because we wanted to promote democracy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think that's
Then
exactly
why did we ditch
we're there.
Afghanistan and now the Taliban's back and it's
So-
not a
so-
democracy anymore?
Right.
Well, I mean,
and
there's
why,
a pseudo-democracy there, but
and
it's
why
still
we are
the government's
It's
still
a
in power.
puppet for show.
But absolutely, yeah. No, I think Bush wanted to make Iraq into a model democracy to spread throughout the Middle East. I mean, really, when you come back to why we did it, I think that's why we did it in the first place. And I still think he's driving that, and so that's his ideology. You don't think so?
No.
That means
so.
he had altruistic means.
I honestly think that's the way he
I
was.
thought
mean,
it was a
if you
connection
wanna
to
have-
terrorism.
Okay. No, democracy.
It was the mobile labs. It
Or
turns
is
out
it,
they were just meth labs.
is it to thumb his nose at his father who couldn't get it done?
Well, he's not.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
As we all know, he
I
hates his dad.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of democracy is that if you want to put an American governor, right, in Iraq?
I know, but I think in his mind, what he saw several years ago was, we will go in, we will be liberators, we will be celebrated, we'll get Saddam Hussein, everything will fall, and we'll create a democracy, and that will start spreading throughout, the Middle East, and it'll become this showcase of Western civilization.
So if he was really about that, then why was the very first thing he said to the Iraqis when he addressed them was, your fate is in your hands, do not burn down your oil fields? Why didn't he sit and say, we are here to help you, if you lay down your arms, we promise we will be there, we will support you, we will help you do a democracy? Instead, the first thing he did was come out like a big bully chest beating and tell them not to burn down their oil fields. And the entire Middle East said, now we get it.
Democracy on our terms, which means here's how we do it here. So here's how we want you to do it. And oh, by the way, you better make sure you leave the oil for us.
And better make sure we can all get rich off of it.
So make sure you don't screw that part up, because that's really important for all of us. But no, I know. But I think if I could jump in his head, I really think that's the way he sees it. So he almost sees himself as some kind of savior for the Middle East, and so therefore it's us versus them, and it's very simplistic, and certainly it appeals to a certain segment of society.
Okay, well, and then if he was also so serious about avenging what happened in 9/11, why didn't we go after Saudi Arabia, which was, how many? 19 of the hijackers were Saudi Arabia.
Because we have a base there.
And Osama bin Laden.
Our biggest oil comes from there.
Going back
to George Sr.'s connection with the royal family,
absolutely.
Well, the Bushes have been in bed with the Saudi royal family for a very long time.
Yeah,
well, going back to your statement about democracy, personally, I don't believe that you can export democracy.
I don't think you can.
That is not going to happen. Not in Iraq, not in Iran.
Because you can't make anybody behave the way you want them to behave.
Right. And especially if you want to export an American type democracy to Middle East, it's not going to work. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not really sure if democracy was the main reason for that. There are other considerations. Oil, securing the areas, dominating the areas. Those, could be part of that. But so far, this democracy is not responding.
It's not working.
Well, and wasn't it when they wanted to go a more parliamentary style, the Bush administration came in and squashed that. So all of a sudden, they were trying to create their form of democracy, and we said no.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, then you got their president, just a few months ago, going, man, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Maybe I don't want to do this anymore.
Maybe you would.
Send a plane to come pick me up and take me to some
Get me the hell out of here.
Right.
I think I'm going to go to Costa Rica, I guess.
Well, actually, the government of Iraq lost a little bit credibility because Nouri al-Maliki met with President Bush, in Jordan, and to Iraqi people, that sounded like he was taking orders, He went there to take orders, and that's why Muqtada al-Sadr now says that because of that, we're not going to support the government.
Yeah.
And so this is going to go, for a longer time, and then, you export democracy, and then you hear about Abu Ghraib, and you hear about all of other areas, and you say, wait a minute, okay, what kind of democracy is it?
I agree.
Yeah.
But now you got Hillary Clinton, who's on the campaign trail, saying that if George Bush were responsible, he would have every soldier out of Iraq by the time he is out of office. Is that fair? Is that
Well, it means in 2 years, right? It means in 2 years?
Yeah, it'll be November next year will be the election, and then he'll be on 2008. Yeah, so is that fair?
Fair, yes, but is that feasible? I'm not really sure, because you can't really bring that many soldiers, at once.
So it's campaign
nobody's
rhetoric.
talked that's the other thing where the media is trying to skew what any Democrats. No Democrat has ever said 100%. One day they're there, one day they're not. They've started to say a methodical withdrawal. And starting with the first thing of saying sending another 20,000 in is not the right thing to do. And here's the other thing most people don't understand. 20,000, it's not just 20,000. It's about 48,000 because you need all the support of those.
It's 20,000 boots on the ground within Baghdad, for example. So it's all the other stuff.
But it's a lot more people going than just 20,000.
And if that is effective, when the war started, right, they had close to 320,000 soldiers over there, and that didn't work. Right? Now this 20,000 extra, that is not going to do the job.
Well, Rumsfeld wanted the new military that was light and quick and smaller teams and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it really, in a lot of ways, went against everything Colin Powell has always said for many, many years about how to run a war. Right?
And you all know that he's still working there. He's got a 38-person staff in an office. Rumsfeld is not gone.
Well, they all work there.
That was all just to show that to make the voters happy after what is a resounding announcement of what America thought in 2006. So Bush did that, but Rumsfeld is still there and he's still involved. He's still pulling strings.
Yeah, that's the way politics are over there. I mean, you never really leave.
Jamie, you explained this to me.
Well, I don't buy that.
Why?
I think some people really leave. Absolutely. Well, the Bush administration has shoved out anybody that was not a yes man. Anybody that came forward. Where's Colin Powell?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Brownie
agree.
stayed on
even
till
to the point
after.
where the Bush administration has fired lawyers and those sorts of things who were coming back and looking at, say, Republicans who maybe were violating the law and those sorts of things. So it's been very draconian. Yeah, it's quite frankly very disappointing.
Yeah, and now you've got up in Seattle a person being called because now the federal government Justice Department is trying to look into some of this bullying and browbeating that the Bush administration has done on district attorneys that want to try to go after people within the federal government for their crimes. And now we're bullying that.
We're all going to get calls on our cell phone now saying, quit talking about Iraq on the air. We know where you live.
No, I'm asking you this.
No, you'll just get a no-fly list.
Mike's already on the no-fly list, man.
My son's been on it once. So
really?
Yeah.
Xander
was.
How old is he, 3?
Yeah, how'd you get on the no-fly list?
Answer my question.
Okay, I'm sorry, my friend.
Really? Okay. If this war was effective, why British government that has been a partner of this war is trying to withdraw?
Yeah, it hasn't been effective. I mean, I can't. I have some ideas about why I think we went in, and we have, in my opinion, we have totally mismanaged it, and we're in a position now of you got to figure out how to find the best solution. And I am disappointed in our government the way that they're doing that, and I think most Americans are. So whether it's supporting them going in or not, and the original stuff that they told us, and now someone's made up. I mean, all that's really hard to go back and second guess and stuff. But are we managing it right today? It doesn't feel like it. It certainly doesn't. And I don't blame the British government for getting the hell out.
Oh yeah, they thought, well, why we are there? I mean, what's the use of being there, and not accomplishing anything?
Again, so how is the coalition doing anyway?
Coalition of the willing.
They're retreating.
Forgot about Poland.
I think there's still 60 Polish.
Yeah, we're the coalition of the willing.
There.
We're the only country that's willing.
Yeah, exactly.
You forgot about Poland. That was in the debates.
And every time we put more troops in, the other countries pull troops out.
Right. Because
it feels like a quagmire. And I realize that.
And it's a civil war.
It is. How we get out is going to take, I think, again, going back to the commission, everybody has to participate. And thus far, we don't seem very good or willing at doing that. And we keep trying to have it our way all the time, and that just doesn't work.
Well, and here's one more theory. You were talking earlier about, why is all this happening? And we've speculated oil, and we've speculated about, having a power over in the Middle East. But here's the other thing. They have benefited from keeping this country scared. Because the more scared we've been, the less we've paid attention to what they're doing with our rights, how they're changing bills, how they're shrinking the middle class, 40 million more children into poverty since George Bush became president. They can keep us distracted about universal health care, so the health care companies can keep getting stinking rich. I mean... Yeah,
whether that is by design or not, we have taken our eye off domestic issues, particularly national debt, health care, Social Security, If you
Yeah,
take
that
a look
he's been
at
borrowing from that's not in the budget.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody knows the Social Security whole lockbox thing is a bunch of crap. I mean, it really doesn't exist. And,
Well, no, because that was Gore's idea that it got shot down by the conservatives.
But there is no money in Social Security. We borrow it all to pay for other stuff. There never has.
There was money until Bush started taking trillions out to fund this war.
No, we have taken Social Security money and written IOUs.
There was a
for
surplus.
years. There was a surplus a few years ago.
And who was that president?
If you
Who
didn't
was
count
that party?
Social Security,
Clinton.
yeah, if you didn't count Social Security, but we've taken our eye off all the domestic issues. There's no doubt about
And
it.
how about this? What do you guys think about the fact that they do these budgets and the war is not in there?
No, I think the way
that
we
is
do
outrageous.
accounting in the
What
government
kind of
is
accounting?
crap.
Yeah.
I mean, we should
It's
do
crazy.
accounting like businesses have to do accounting, so you can see it all above board.
So
And we don't do
what
that.
do they say our deficit is?
Well, I don't know. It's like $400 billion or something like that.
Oh,
but
it's got to be more than that.
Whoa.
No, it's way
Oh,
more
you
than
mean
that.
the total deficit? Several trillion. I
Yeah.
don't even mean for the year. But again, even the year, and this would be a good
But
segment
I think
for
the
us.
war costs aren't even in the deficit.
No, I'm sure there was.
So we're in worse shape than we actually, because of their creative accounting.
Well, we
What
certainly
is-
do that.
So
I
can't go that far out.
Pete just pulled that up for us.
Yeah.
8.7
But here's the
trillion.
interesting thing: even if we're doing $400 billion
Let's just keep printing
in
money.
debt every year, that's before Social Security. That doesn't include all the IOUs we roll for Social
Man,
Security.
I'll never see
So-
8.7 trillion
Yeah.
in a lifetime.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's certainly a problem.
It's your salary.
But again,
Okay, this is
that's my
interesting.
worth.
but in terms of our total output as a nation, it's not very big.
Our national debt has continued to increase an average of $1.84 billion per day since September 29th, 2006.
So we were up a few hundred million just sitting here talking.
Here's your share of the debt. $29,196.35.
I want a refund.
So there you go. So
We should have an economist on or something to talk about this, and in terms of how much the debt and its relationship to the national economy and how big it truly is, and what are we hiding and we not hide? Because it's
I'll
it's a
invite
big
my
mess.
boss to this program. He's an economist.
We'll get who on?
My boss.
Your boss? Yeah, we'll have
Mr.
to set
Trickle
that up.
Down.
Yeah. Shane will have to work on that for us.
We can work on getting T-bone buyers.
We should get
Yes,
T-Bone buyers
we
on.
should.
T-Bone.
Hey, this is probably
If
a
we
good
could
place
all
for us to wrap
understand
up, huh?
Yes, I think it's the time.
Now that we're on to the economy and off to
Jane's
war.
got some announcements.
Well, you know, I just
Jane,
wanted to thank
You're
John.
getting married?
No.
Oh. got the clap?
Wanted to thank John. Jeez, would this guy let me finish?
I know.
Who invited this guy, Mike? Jeez. No, but we want to thank John Barleycorn for having us here.
Yes.
down at Miniman's.
Absolutely.
This place is
Yeah,
rocking
it's-
right
it
now,
is
too.
a busy-
It's packed.
It's packed.
great.
So,
That's very good.
come on down on Friday afternoons. That's when we're hanging out, recording, and I'm
after
enjoying.
3,
A little after 3 o'clock. I'm enjoying a nice hammerhead.
Beers are good.
Beers are very
Tots
good.
are good.
Tots are good. So,
Mr. Mike Mostafavi, thank you for coming again.
Oh, thank you.
It's always
for
good
inviting
hanging out
me.
with you, Mike.
Yes, thank you.
And we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And your show is where again?
It's Iraniman.tv.
And you're on Saturday nights.
Saturday night, 9 o'clock, 9 to 10.
What channel was
very
it?
cool.
Channel 11.
Channel 11.
9/11. And you can write us at
The show
show.
at beer30live.com.
You've got Mary at beer30live.com, Shane at beer30live.com, Jamie at beer30live, and some guy named Pete, but we don't know much about him.
Pete.
So,
All right. Thanks,
I'm
guys.
sure I've ruffled
Thank
some
you.
feathers. Let me hear from you.
really, please do write Mary and put her back in her place. We would really enjoy that.
We do enjoy the finger wag, though.
Yes, we do.
Oh, no.
All
I
right,
did not
to
do
Beer
many
30 Live.
fingers. Yeah, cheers.
Ah.
All right, and we're out.
Hello.
How are you?
Wait,
Yeah.
what is that? It's like Lionel Richie.
Was it Lionel Richie or was it Neil Diamond?
No, I don't think so. Really? Neil Diamond?
What about from Neil Diamond's jazz singing?
Racklin Rose again.
Oh, it's just like, is it you I've been looking for, right?
I
That's
think
it,
so.
Yeah.
Never looking back again.
He's singing it about the girl.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw him in concert.
Now you're feeling better now. Is that it?